What's up, everybody? This is Johnny Basement, and we're back here in the basement for another round 5 matchup. A big one, actually. The 3-1 Bombers come in to play the 3-1 Melbourne Demons. Both teams are sitting on top of the ladder. They're in the top 5, actually, in the ladder right now. Coming into this game, before we get into it, please subscribe, bell notice, hit that like button, drop some comments down below where you'll find the link to this video down in those comments as well. Guys, before we even get started, this is a big day. Boom. Brisbane Lions 152. My Lions 152 to 77 of North Melbourne. 22 goals. 22 goals. I have not watched the game yet. I did see the score, though. I saw the score. Again, guys, these games start at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning. So it's hard. I have to watch a lot of the replays on the Watch AFL app. Thank you for the Watch AFL app because I can catch all the action, all the games. That one I'm going to be watching, but I watched this one first. This was the first game I watched because the matchup was far bigger than that matchup over there with the Lions and the Melbourne and the Kangaroos. Also, number 5, New York Knicks. Number 5, playoffs today. Number 5 in the Eastern Conference going against number 4, Cleveland Cavaliers. In the best of 7 series, round 1 playoffs today. Today, about 7 hours away from round 1 of the NBA playoffs, my Knicks, I'm predicting that they're going to win 4 games to 2 in 6 games. That's what it's going to be. They're going to win 4 games to 2. Whoever wins 4 games first wins it. That has nothing to do with this game. I'm just excited about my team going to the playoffs and the Lions kicking butt today as well. So, getting into this game, Essendon and Melbourne comes in. The biggest story, honestly, in this game, Draper and Phillips, the ruckman for the Essendon Bombers. These guys just proved to be way too much to handle for the Melbourne Demons. The height advantage that they had just outclassed everything on Melbourne. It really showed more so in the second half. The third quarter, well, Melbourne didn't score any goals. 0 goals. 0. They only had 2 minors. That's it. Only 2 minors. And the fourth quarter, the game was already out of hand. It was pouring in the third quarter, pouring for most of that quarter. It was threatening rain, sprinkles here and there. That third quarter, the rain really kicked in. The second quarter, you'll see that Melbourne kicked the first 4 goals, and they looked like they were really going to put the pressure on Essendon. Essendon recovered, recuperated, and they started taking off from the second part of the second quarter. Essendon kicked the next 4 goals in a row, and they just took off. The third quarter, Melbourne was non-existent. I'm going to do a quarter by quarter. Now, finding the highlights and finding good highlights, every link that you see is from the same channel that I get it from. These are the best highlights I can find. I'm not kidding you. There's so many copyright issues and problems and videos getting taken down. You guys have no idea how frustrating it is to do an entire video with really good highlights just to have it not be allowed to be used. You guys know what that's like? After you spend a couple hours watching the game, writing the notes down, writing quarter by quarters with these notes, minute by minute scores, situations, all that, and try to match that up, and then the whole thing gets shut down. Not a good time. Not a good time. It happens. So we're going to go along here. Sometimes I feel like I could just talk without even using the highlights. I can certainly do that, but we're just doing experimenting here. You guys are on this journey with me. My first footy season as an American going into this incredible sport. I wish this sport had been a part of my life way earlier. I never even knew about it. Never even knew about it because of you great Aussies and the comments that you give me. I rely on them. I'm learning a lot from them. Like the last video, thank you to the guys that were telling me why certain people are so wide open. Is zone defense. And I know they have a loose man where it's like a roamer. Loose man. He can go around and follow any part of the defense. Help any situation. It's like a free safety in football. That safety can help a cornerback on a wide receiver. He can break off to the other side, help the other cornerback. He can move up and help the linebackers on a blitz or focusing on a running back. So I understand it a little bit better now why certain guys are so wide open. But in here you see Essendon use more of a one-on-one. They use more tight coverage than I saw in the previous games in this round, at least the ones I watched. There was a lot of tight coverage in here by Essendon, and it really paid off. It really did. The only reason Melbourne kind of stuck around in this first quarter and really in the first half is dumb mistakes by Essendon and a couple of really ticky-tack calls. Really ticky-tack calls that I thought was just a little questionable. But again, when you leave things up to umpires and referees, it's all subjective. It's all up to them. like in the NFL with the concussions and protecting the quarterback. So one referee might think, actually they're told in the NFL, and I know a lot of you guys watch the NFL, they're told that a referee is allowed, even if the hit is legal, like shoulder pad, boom, right into the quarterback's chest. That's a legal hit. But if the ref feels that it's still roughing the quarterback, they can still throw that flag, even though it's not. They can still call a penalty on it because they felt it was roughing. That's a true story. That's the way it's run in the NFL. The league allows them to subjectively make their own decision on what they feel is a penalty, even though it's legal. So you never want this going up to the refs. I always feel you might have a personal issue if you had problems with a player in the past. They might just do a little ticky-tack call here and there because they can. That's my personal opinion. I never blame games on the refs. Never do. Because if you do, there's always other plays that could have happened. There's always a play here and there that changed the game. You leave it up to a ref, it's like a boxing match. You never leave it up to the judges. You'd rather knock the guy out before you get to a person's personal opinion. Anyway, let's get into this game right now. You're going to see a couple of things in the first quarter where the Bombers gave up 12 unnecessary points. Laverty's headshot gave up a 50-meter penalty, which Fritsch ended up with a goal there. That's 6 points right there. That shouldn't have happened. And then right after the center bounce, a little bit more deeper into the first quarter, Durham had a bad turnover, which turned into another Fritsch goal. So that's 12 unanswered points right there. 12 unnecessary points. They were answered. 12 unnecessary points. Why did that happen? Because we're in the basement. You can't get any lower than the basement, so mistakes are going to happen. That is why Melbourne stuck around in that first quarter. This game ultimately really could have been a blowout. It really could have been a blowout, Essendon all the way. But because of a couple of dumb mistakes, they let Melbourne stick around, hanging around. You can't let the team hang around. But Essendon eventually got it together. As we said, the second part of the second quarter, Essendon kicked 4 goals in a row following Melbourne's 4 in a row, and they just took off from there. So really the beginning part of this game, Essendon through a few mistakes, just not being focused, not being totally dialed in, allowed Melbourne to stick around a little bit. So let's get into it right now and see what happened here. And a couple of injuries happened as well, so let's check them out. And how about the volume? That would help.
GWS, the captains are at gather round so great, and it's going to fill up as full. He's more explosive, Jake, but
here we go.
Interesting game on. It is game on. Who is going to explode? Every Bomber getting their hands on it. Jones to the top of the square.
Now Melbourne was putting a lot of pressure on in the beginning.
Parrish kept on coming.
But they just couldn't capitalize, and they kept turning the ball over.
To give the Bombers.
So the Bombers get it behind right here to go up 1-0. They can see a great play by Snelling. Snelling, beautiful mark up to Langford. Langford was all over the place today too. Boom, 7-0 right off the bat.
Kicking prowess right now. Phillips comes in. He kicks truly there. Confidently.
Now Phillips' goal right there, that came as a height advantage. Tomlinson had to hold on to him. They both jumped up for the ball. Tomlinson had to grab onto him and do a little bit of an interference because the height advantage of Phillips, as I said in the beginning, Draper and Phillips were too much to handle for Melbourne. Too much to handle. That's why he got the free kick right there off of a penalty. 13-0 Essendon. Keep it moving.
Because he had Melksham and Pickett, Grundy, all in the picture. Fritsch ready to attack. Laverty, Pickett in the area, which always...
It's not good news for the Bombers, who has been a pretty important part of it.
Durham just instinctive handballs. Perkins, they have one-on-one, or they may take front positions. Fritsch to Pickett.
Melksham had a good ball awareness there to get it to Pickett to keep them in the game there.
Just pushes it across the front. Any extra opportunities in front of the sticks.
Now this goal.
They're just about level again. A little bit start.
Now that happened right there. See, they didn't show it. There was an unnecessary headshot, which turned into a 50-meter penalty. It was at the 11-13 mark. The 11-13 mark, and that's why that goal happened right there. It was an unnecessary headshot. It shouldn't have happened. Just shouldn't have happened. That's what you're doing, and now it's going to be 14-13. You're letting Melbourne hang around. This is an unnecessary goal given up. Mental lapse.
A couple of times. Sparrow, the setup is perfect. Viney just has to keep it cool for a second. Let's put Melbourne in front. And that's the Bridges.
That was the bad turnover I talked about from the center bounce by Durham. They didn't show that either. See what I mean? See what I mean going through this like this? I might do the next review with no highlights, none. Just put a box score up there and we'll just talk about the game. But this time, like I said, guys, first journey through. I'm going to be around for a long time, so you guys are doing it with me, man. Where you trial and error with this. Highlights quarter by quarter, or do a box score. Maybe the next review I do will be strictly box score. Next round. I'm going to do highlights for this rest of this round. You guys give me your opinion on what you like to see better. So, but again, I have all the times and everything written down of everything that happened in this game. It's all written, and I'm trying to follow through here. Thank you so much for sticking around with me. Let's keep doing this. But anyway, this is why Melbourne stuck around this first quarter.
Durham's been everything so far. Merritt to the square, Stringer went early.
Now wine flies will be all over you.
Yeah, they got a few here, I think, this afternoon. Couldn't control it. Martin, he is very...
Now let me ask you a question here. If you watched the game, Draper on this first goal here, on that free kick. Now the ball hit the post. The ball hit the post. It doesn't show it in here, but it hit the post after a melee of players jumping around for the ball. Then it hit the post and Draper get a free kick. Can you explain to me why he got that free kick? I couldn't pick up on why that happened in the game. But it does say here, and it was at the 8:56. At 8:56 left in the first quarter, the ball hits the post after a whole melee of players, both teams jumping and scrambling for that ball. It hits the post. Draper ends up with a free kick. Either I missed something, which is very possible, or there's a rule in there that I don't know, which is also extremely possible. So please inform me on that one.
crafty in front of the sticks. And then Viney up against the line. Now Roy, the third most free kicks last year in the league. Draper, he's been a pretty good boy so far this year. Oh,
Dirk Thatcher's just come on the ground. Looks like he's got a wooden leg.
Good prognosis. And to give Essendon a 13-point advantage.
See, now missing there too didn't help.
Can he make the choice kick?
I love when these guys miss and they get a minor and they're so disappointed. Even though it's a point, I get it. You want the major. You want the goal. I get it. Trust me, I get it. So when you get that minor, they just look disappointed like, I'd rather not even score than sit here and get it behind when I should have kicked the goal. I love it. I love that kind of passion. You want the big money. You want the big shot. You don't want the minor. It is a point. Every point counts. Every point counts, as we know. But they look just like they'd rather just not have scored. So many players do it in so many different teams and rounds I've noticed so far. It's just like, I get it. I get it. Nobody wants the point, but hey, it's better than nothing.
He took the most conservative of venturing in. Snelling doesn't take it on.
That was, yeah.
Crowded goal last.
Draper again. Big men. Draper, Phillips, killing it in this game. Draper and Phillips.
Yeah, he is sore.
I don't know what's wrong with him, but he got a knock.
Eagle numbers, Vince, that was a sound option. Parrish rarely kicks a goal. Space
that turned into a behind. Does Parrish not have a leg? Well, rarely kicks a goal. Maybe that's why. Maybe he didn't have the leg to make it all the way, but it ended up as a behind.
Langdon, he's got Fritz in the pocket. Cute little kid. He'd love to do it against his old team. And they start to...
So 34-26 at the end of the first quarter. Essendon had 5 goals. Well, it's right there. Essendon had 5 goals, 4 behinds, 34. Again, you take away those 12 points that Essendon basically gave them. Look at that score. It had been 34-14. Big difference. The mental errors make these games harder. Teams can make it harder on themselves. Again, Essendon picked it up, though. Man, Essendon is really doing it this year, too. Man, they are doing it. They are doing it. No one expected this.
Exhibit their skills.
Not from the previews that I've read, anyway. Maybe you guys expected it. Maybe you Bomber fans know way more about the team than I did. And I know the Aussies that come in my live streams and always inform me about how good the Bombers are going to be this year. Bon, I got you. I got you, Bon. Thank you, man, and I appreciate your support. You know who I'm talking to.
Petrarca, under duress, still goes the circle quickly.
Now, in the second quarter here, you're going to see Melbourne just takes off. Melbourne really starts putting the pressure on.
Jones.
Now, that's got a score review right there. That was a score review. They couldn't determine if this went through the goal or if it was a behind. That is huge. It turned out to be a behind only. That's huge. That is huge, and you really couldn't get that great of an angle on it because the ball was kicked all the way to the sky.
Every now and then a team have been able to...
So there was a review on that play.
I think that he hasn't had a clearance, so
It's been worth the wait for Demons fans.
Now that Van Rooney goal there, that was at 16:31, right? That's the ticky-tacky call that I'm talking about. The Draper interference, if you saw it, the Draper's interference was not interference, man. Come on. I mean, maybe technically it was, but let the guys play. Let them play. I don't have a dog in this fight. So I'm being completely unbiased. Let the guys play, man. That goal shouldn't have even happened. That shouldn't have been a penalty. On top of that, the announcer said that just should have been a play on. When I'm watching the game live, the announcer said it. That just should have been a play on, man. That should not have been a penalty. And I fully agree in my short time of watching this. But I watch a lot of other sports to know what a ticky-tack little call that is. And that's what I say, dude. Some umpires get something personal with a player or not, or a team in general. I don't know. I'm just saying. That was really ticky-tacky. So Melbourne takes the lead now.
Oh, Redmond loves to run down and bang along. Kicks forward. Oh,
that right there was the other headshot I was talking about. Now you're giving points away. Pickett, goal. You're giving points away. Look at Melbourne taking off. They scored the first 4 goals. Well, they scored 4 goals in a row before Essendon could answer back.
Langford is, as a result of that, loose.
It's got 50 metres then, doesn't it?
That stops it around 4.
Now that there was Petrecka dragging down McGrath. He dragged him down. It was unnecessary. Now that was on Melbourne. Now Melbourne doing that gave up points. There was no reason. McGrath was running by and Petrecka just grabbed him right by like the back of his Guernsey. Grabs him and just throws him down and then looks at the ref. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. I mean, it was plain as day. It was obvious. McGrath has that ace bandage or whatever he has on his shoulder up here. And he dragged him down. They didn't even show that, I don't think.
Chandler sweeps in. Fritz is on.
Let's back it up. I don't think they showed it. Let me see.
Back to the goal square.
It's unnecessary.
Got Langford.
Nah, they didn't.
Is,
Wait.
as a result of that, loose.
It's got 50 metres then, doesn't it?
Right, well, you see where they paused it there? It's right there. You see number 5 here? That's Petrecka. He drags McGrath right down unnecessarily. Right when he's kicking the ball, Petrecka right here. If you watch the game, he drags him down. These are unnecessary points. These are mental errors. It just, you're taking a personal beef or a personal issue that maybe happened earlier in the game, so you're going to take it upon yourself, hurt your team, and give up points. When you're leading in this game, that's just, it shouldn't happen at any point, but that's just dumb. They might show it here, they might not, but keep your eye on number 5.
Got Langford is, as a result of that, loose.
It's got 50 metres then, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's when he was arguing with the ref right there. There's your points. Now it's 45-42. Bad mental error by Petrecka.
And opportunity deep. Jones is off for the moment. Phillips is there as
Watch
well.
Phillips' mark here. Boom!
Essendon.
The height advantage is
Jones
ridiculous.
is off for the moment. Phillips is there as well.
Look at that. Look how high and above he is. Number 20. That's Tomlinson. Tomlinson was getting chewed up by Phillips all game. All game.
Essendon.
Boom.
Kicked it hard. Shakespeare. But the bodies went to ground. Langford got a clear run at it. About the...
That's a question I have right there. Thanks for bearing along with me. But you know what? We're doing quarter by quarter. This is what I have to do. And check my times with the goals. Now watch this.
Shakespeare. But the bodies went to ground.
Now, Petty's coming in right here on Langford, right? What I don't understand here, Langford gets the free kick even though he dropped this mark. Now, is that because Petty's going over the top right here? Is that because, look at his, yeah, it's got to be because of that, right? That's why the free kick came in, because he was definitely going to get the mark. That's got to be an over the top. Or if there's another term for it, please let me know. But that's my assumption.
Clear run at it. About the conversion.
Boom.
3 in a row.
Again,
He knows
unnecessary points. Even though he probably would have had the mark anyway, it's just the point of my point. How about that?
It's turned out all right. Good progression. Martin from Parrish. And Phillips again. Through Van Rooyen to Oliver. The senior players look to step up. And to Hunter again.
They didn't show here either. Petrecka missed a crucial goal. 7:11 left in this quarter. At 7:11 mark left in this quarter. 7-minute, 11-second mark. Petreka got it behind, missed a crucial goal. That would have made this 55-52. Free kick, I don't know how he missed. I mean, it happens, but you got to be focused. These little things here and there as the game goes on starts to take a toll. And from this point forward through the entire third quarter, Melbourne did nothing. 0.
Again. Cut the kick in and head
Going to be very sore after that.
Beautiful mark.
Then Roy, no one got their timing right except Langford Draper for a third.
Draper. Guys, I keep saying Draper Phillips. Why? They were the kings of this game. Big difference in this game.
There's time to think about it, and he'd like to have his big tackle on Petty if he could. Setterfield. Had him up and just that. Play on. Setterfield wasn't waiting. Out the shield, fires another one. The thing is, everything in life ain't footy. And it was beautifully got made good on that. And right now he steps up on the 50. Don't think it's online.
Good block at the end, and now we're starting the third quarter. What you guys did not see is at the minute 11 mark, I believe it was. Minute 15 left in the second quarter. Spargo took a headshot. He took a headshot. He had to leave the game. So James Jordan came in to replace him, so he's under a concussion protocol or whatever it's referred to in Australia and the AFL. Where we are, it's a concussion protocol, so we're on the same page. We know what we're talking about here. So Melbourne now is going to a third quarter. Talk about rain, heavy rain. Rain down by the Essendon defense and physical rain on top of that. This quarter, the rain, it's like a movie setting. Like, it just doesn't get any worse for Melbourne at this point. Just doesn't get any worse. They scored no goals this whole third quarter.
Scoring becomes so much more difficult in these conditions.
Mighty. Merritt instead.
Essendon just kept the pressure moving.
Plenty from quite close.
Boom, another goal. Look at this.
Tomlinson he did in the nick of time, but Stringer, he's no second Stringer.
Target here, the big bomb hasn't been working.
What was the most viable? Goes down to Melcham. Had a big part in this
There
game.
really isn't a whole lot of action in this third quarter for Melbourne. So, boom, look at that goal right there. Now, that happened at the 12:55 point. That right there, already, we are beyond 31 minutes and 13 seconds. Probably more like 34 minutes at this point since Melbourne has scored a goal. 35 minutes. Are you kidding me? That's a long time, and big ups to Essendon's defense, which played more of a man-on-man. They played more of a man-on-man. And from what I've read up on AFL defenses, it seemed like that loose man I was talking about really showed his presence in this game. Always went to where the ball and the action was at. I understand better now from you. Great comments about telling me about how the zone defenses. And yes, I should be more aware that the oval is monstrous, so there are going to be times where there's going to be people just wide open because really most guys are running to where the action is. But the only problem I see with a zone defense is it clusters everybody up in one area and leaves, this guy open, that guy open, this guy open, because they're clustering in on one person. They're covering areas. And then they cluster all up in that area, easy hand pass out, and someone's wide open. I brought up the analogy yesterday with hockey. Crashing the net. It's when all the wings and the centers crash on the net, defenders come all the way up. You're leaving your goalie out to dry if you give up a breakaway or the defender just misses a pass, misses an attempt to block a pass. It gets through. Now you have an odd man rush, 2-on-1, 3-on-1. There might be one poor defender back there and just the goalie, and you got 3-on-1, an odd man rush. That's what I see happens in a lot of footy games. But again, the oval's monstrous, and you guys have informed me of that, so I get it. Let's keep it moving.
Perkins. Oh, he got through with a kick. It's deep. Jones and Petty minding Jones. That's where the ball's coming. Worried about Jones. He's worried, man, in a better position to get.
Look at the dominance in this third quarter. Just pure dominance. Essendon is looking really good.
Going straight down the race. His choice.
7 goals 5 for the season so far. Goalless up until now.
Now, the 13:58 mark, as I was yammering away, Langford, I wonder why. Will this go under a tribunal? If you saw it at the 13-minute and 58 mark in this third quarter, Langford shoves May to the ground. Literally shoves him to the ground, gets the Sharon, kicks it through for a goal. I don't think they showed, well, maybe they did. Let's check it out. I'll bump it back up. Don't worry, I'm not going to watch that. It was right there. I believe that was it. Right there. That was it.
It was the most violent. Goes down to Melcham. Had a big part in this.
Isn't that a penalty of some sort? He shoved him out of the way. He shoved him in his back. That number 1 is May, I believe. Isn't that May? Anyway, he shoved him out of the way and just kicks this goal.
And now he watches with all of us.
Now I'm going to bump it back up to where we were.
Going straight down the race. His choice.
And goals fired for the
Great
season
ball
so
distribution
far.
by
Goals up
Essendon
until
today.
now.
Great awareness, great focus.
It's a believer. Back in defence today. Took some time forward. His 12th disposal to McDonald. This has got run over by Perkins. Nice work, Rivers. Pickett to try and ignite.
Kicked it into traffic, man. Why didn't he just keep the ball there?
Got run over by
This is
Perkins.
rushing plays, see? Everybody's covered. Look at the man defense. Man. I'm assuming that's like the loose man. Again, guys, I'm learning. But I'm fascinated by defenses and strategies and things of that nature. So everybody's covered. Why doesn't he just continue to run the ball up a little bit further? He kicked it right into these two guys. Now, if anybody knows, I'm a New York Jets fan. That's a Zach Wilson pass right there. Throw it into traffic and get intercepted. That's exactly what I looked at. That's Zach Wilson right there. Well, I don't know if I should call him a quarterback, but that's right there because the kid has no mental focus. There's no focus here.
Nice work.
All right, now he's getting the pressure. I understand that. How about him? Oh, that'd be a hard kick over there. That'd be too hard to 37, right? He could hand pass it, though. But I guess you take the chance with him up here, but it just developed so slowly. And it was so predictable. It's so predictable that my man right here is already closing in. It's so predictable. You could even hand pass it back to number 7, right? Boy, I'm being a Monday morning quarterback. That's what we call from NFL games. And you sit there the next day as a fan saying, he should have done that. He should have done that. He should have done that. What do I know? I'm only a couple months into this thing, and I'm talking a lot of crap about what people should do already. I know about 82% of what's going on. I should just be quiet, but that's my observation. Let's go.
Rivers. Pickett to try and ignite.
That's just the wrong place to go, my opinion.
Stringer out of my house.
The contest, but not moving well.
Given the gravity of the situation.
Tail of the tail for Melbourne. Beautiful Specky. That was great, even though, oh my gosh, by
Given the
Pickett.
gravity of the situation.
I love it. Look at that play, man. That is incredible. I love the Specky. I always got to stop him on Speckies, man. Even though he missed it, it's still, I love it. I love the attempt. That was awesome.
Again, Perkins just played on blindly. And foolishly is a turn. Stringer. Again.
So Perkins is going to end up with the final goal of this quarter,
Dumps it to
which will be about
around the
the...
corner for Fritsch. The temptation was there to go for home.
He got the final goal in this quarter around the 9-minute mark, 9:50, and it's just
That doesn't
behind
really
after
do
that.
Not Lindsay. Hunter. Oh, Brayshaw.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Melbourne's advantage. Brayshaw. And that was one of their prime movers. He goes back and puts it through. There's time.
After 1 hour, a little over 1 hour, Melbourne finally scores a goal. Finally.
At the bottom of your frame.
Just dominance after this again. Hind is the guy that kicked the final 2 goals, I believe, for Essendon. That sealed this game, sealed the 4 points for Essendon. There's Hind right there for 1.
Almost. Chandler.
Great ball distribution in this 4th quarter by Essendon as well.
That's the work rate we're talking about, Hard. There's always been someone in support.
Made a side to keep it in the ground. Ridley full stretch. Thumps it deep. On with the push. And Saints, when he first got his chance at AFL level. It was bought some time. Fritsch ignored the entrees from 3 of his teammates.
See, Frisch there, that's just rush to me. These guys are rushing.
Bought some time.
Jeez. Could have
Fritsch.
Look at my man right here. Wide open. He could have hand passed it. Boom, boom. Am I being too critical? Probably. But I'm just saying. Like Melbourne, to me, started really rushing. Now, the weather was bad. I get it. The weather came really down hardcore in the 3rd quarter on. I get it. But it didn't seem to affect Essendon as much as Melbourne. I think Melbourne up here was getting really, really behind the ball. Now, this here, why can't he hand pass it to this guy? Hand pass it right here. Now, watch. Follow me. Follow me. And look at this dude up here. Hand pass. Hand pass. He is wide open. He is wide open. Rush that kick. He rushed that kick.
Ignored the entrees from 3 of his teammates.
And it ended up being a behind, man. That was just really bad play. That's not being aware of your teammates and what's going on, man. This is doable.
Some time.
Boom, and then boom.
The entrees from 3 of his teammates.
This is why they lost. Now that there, beautiful. That there, Setterfield dove for a ball when you already went like that is killer instinct. Setterfield dives for this ball. They're not going to show it. Setterfield dived for the ball. Then he gets it up to Stringer. Beautiful ball distribution up to Martin. Goal. Essendon took off here, guys.
Chandler. Still, they're
only going to get behinds the rest of the way, Essendon. They really didn't have to do much else after that.
There's not a single Essendon.
McVee retreating madly to his teammate Neil Bullen this time. Worked out the maths. I can run 5 and kick it for pushing.
That was a beautiful goal right there by Melbourne, but just a little too late. The final score is going to be 104-77, guys.
Tough kick from there, but
they're going to get 3 more behinds, Melbourne, and that's it. I mean, we've been over this whole thing here. Essendon brought the defense. Melbourne came back in that second quarter, honestly. The first quarter, the score at the end of the first quarter, really the points, they had 26 points, Melbourne. Really, they should have only had 14. That 12 extra points was unnecessarily given by just mental errors by Essendon. Just mental errors. When you really think about this game, Melbourne really only played in the first part of the second quarter. The first half of the second quarter. 4 goals in a row. They were bringing it on. They were putting on Essendon. They put Essendon back on their heels. But the defensive strategy by Essendon, which I believe was more man-on-man, tight coverage, that's what it appeared to me. They kept it in. They didn't keep wide open. There was no wide open spaces for Melbourne, basically. None. So that had to have been more of a tight coverage that shut them down. And then when Essendon woke up and finally got it going from the second half of the second quarter on, we saw it. It was all Essendon. Draper, Phillips. Big difference in this game. Draper and Phillips. Hopefully Spargo's okay. I hope his head concussion and the concussion protocol turns out to be all right. As we know from Paddy McCartan with the Swans, man, I still feel it for that guy, man. I really did look into a lot of things what happened with Paddy. He should not come back. For his own health and his own life. Forget about your career. For his own life. These concussions are serious business, man. Serious business. Guys, I appreciate so much the following that you guys, the patience you guys put up with me saying names wrong or saying pronunciation of a word wrong or just getting an outright play wrong or missing an observation that some feel I should have seen, sometimes I shouldn't have seen. There's just observations I might have missed. I'm still learning. But I'm all in, guys. I told you. I get my notes and you guys in the comments. Even if I don't comment back, it's hard to get to every one. I read them all. I read all the comments and I take in what you guys say and I write those down too. I take screenshots so the Aussies keep helping this American on his journey in footy. This is an incredible, incredible game and the games go by so fast because it's so much fun. So guys, thanks again. Check me out on my next video or jump in one of my live streams when you see me on for the New York Knicks or the New York Rangers in the playoffs. Even the New York Yankees we're doing also. So guys, much appreciate the support of the channel. I'm Johnny Basement and I am out.